Labour unions insist on industrial action despite court injunction. Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Tonight, Adiola Komiakiri joins me from Lagos. The Network News on NTA is always live on our website, nta.ng/live, and do follow us across all social media platforms for the latest. President Bola Tinubu has performed lesser pilgrimage in Mecca with prayers for a much greater and peaceful Nigeria. The minor Hajj comes after the president's official engagements in Riyadh at the Saudi Africa Summit and the Saudi-Nigeria Business Roundtable. State House correspondent Musbah Nawahab reports.
President Bola Tinubu, for the second time in less than a year, was back in the Kaaba, considered in Islam as the holiest site and house of God. His previous visit was weeks before his election, and yet again he was here after victories of election and the attendant litigations. For this moment, the toga of presidency was aside as the Nigerian #1 joined other Muslims here as ordinary as possible before God. President Tinubu and his team of governors, ministers and other rays performed the 7th circuit circumambulation of the Holy Kaaba, ending with a two-standard prayer. In the other part of the rite, the Nigerian leader also performed the ritual of walk between the two hills of Safa and Marwa, symbolic of life struggle. This culminated in a special prayer. Pilgrimage is a religious obligation craved by Muslims, but this one is from a grateful heart.
I am grateful to God for His guidance, His blessings, and His answers to my prayers and the country's prayers for good of all. We have to give thanks to Him at every opportunity that we may have.
But beyond personal gratitude for the president and his team, there is certainly no better opportunities to pray God for a much greater Nigeria in peace, stability, and prosperity.
Excellency, what prayer did you say for Nigeria?
For the country, may our prosperity grow and our humanity be kind to each and every one of us. The prospect of the country is yet to blossom to the level that we require. It needs hard work and consistent prayer, and we are giving it to our mind and our spirit in every way possible. Our strength is our diversity, and we'll continue to build on that for the prospect and sake of the country.
This speaks volumes about the kind of president we have. Somebody who is deeply faithful in God, who is deeply thankful about what God has done to his life and what has God done to our country.
Before you can achieve anything in life, you have to commit it into the hands of God. And whatever you commit to his hands, you know it is safe.
With rapt attention, his statemently prayers, his usual leadership prayers for Nigeria across the board, being very conscious of our diversity, which he hopes to be a source of our strength, and of course, the vision for Nigeria in terms of trying to unlock the potentials of the country across the board, devoid of any sentiments or rancor or division. And I have prayed for Nigeria and for him as a leader, because once you pray for a leader, you are praying for the people.
This rite rounded off the president's bilateral and investment drive to Saudi Arabia with hopes of a greater deal for Nigeria in trade relations. From Mecca, Musbah Nawahab, NTA News.
A strong message of unity in diversity from President Bola Tinubu there. Meanwhile, the world is beginning to notice Nigeria's readiness to take its rightful and respected place with the current momentum being created to revitalize the country's economy. The common reaction to Nigeria's outing at the Saudi Africa Summit, which has also seen President Bola Tinubu lead his team to a Saudi-Nigeria roundtable meeting with Saudi Arabian investors. Members of the Nigerian delegation to Riyadh, including governors, ministers and captains of industry, say the leadership being provided by the president is beginning to change perceptions about Nigeria amongst the Committee of Nations.
We are very, very happy yet again that President Bola Tinubu is being acknowledged around the world in terms of the visions he has taken, in terms of the statesmanship he is showing, in terms of being, in spite of Nigeria's president now being the chief marketing officer of Nigeria, meeting leaders of countries who have been expressing confidence in him.
Mr. President has so very eloquently and productively passed the message of the fact that Nigeria is open for business. And Mr. President had clearly pointed out that he's a free economy man and he is open, obviously, to free movement of capital in and out. So if any organization or business wants to invest in Nigeria, they can do so with their investment and they can leave with their investment at any time they so wish. So it is a very, very positive development for Nigeria.
He has unbundled Nigeria. He has rekindled hope and confidence in Nigeria and Nigerians by sheer discussion on a frank and positive manner. And of course, the Saudi investors at the highest level have also shown that they have confidence in Nigeria after pouring some of their misgivings, their apprehensions and their fears. And after all these apprehensions were allayed.
The delegation also believes improved relations will benefit subnationals when materialized.
One's collaboration agriculture. Now, Niger State serves as the state for the first pilot scheme because of our closeness to the FCT, bodies of water for irrigation. We have 4 hydropower dams that are currently functional. We have bodies of stream and water. We have both River Niger and River Benue. We are the largest producers of shea nuts and also paddy rice in Nigeria. So this is a very good opportunity and avenue for us to showcase ourselves, which we've done, and we have got interested collaboration.
So we in Katsina State, we have also keyed into this initiative. We have also launched a ease of doing business committee in my state so that it can allow investors to freely come into our state and be able to invest in many areas. The major areas of the strength of my state are in the area of mineral resources. We have a lot of deposit of lithium, gold, diamond and uranium, and we also have potentials in agriculture.
Back home in Nigeria, the federal government says Nigeria's huge potentials in digital technology, the outsourcing industry and the clean energy sector will continue to incentivize investments in its energy transition plan to diversify the economy. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when he received Denmark's Minister for Development Cooperation and Global Climate Policy, Dan Jorgensen, on a courtesy visit to the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Shedding light on Nigeria's climate objectives under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima noted that investments in digital technology, clean energy and other sectors had become a priority as a result of the dwindling fortune of the oil economy. Identifying the strength of Nigeria's population as a huge resource for transformation of Africa, noting that the continent's transformation could be fast-tracked by green and sustainable energy. Soliciting the support of the Danish government and the Global Center on Adaptation for Africa and Nigeria's climate action, the Vice President maintained that with sustainable energy, the continent will key into Africa's development aspirations. He further delved into the political instability in parts of West Africa, saying Nigeria has taken a firm position against military coups by defending the cause of democracy and human rights. The Danish Minister for Development Cooperation and Global Climate Policy expressed his admiration for Nigeria's leadership and commitment to climate sustainability.
And onshore wind is even cheaper. Solar energy, of course, I would imagine you have a huge potential for that here in Nigeria. It's also very, very cheap and very reliable. So I would say that we need to do this for the climate, yes, but even if there had been no such thing as climate change, still this would be the sensible thing to do for economic reasons and to make sure that as many people as possible have access to clean, affordable energy. Because in my opinion, it's a human right that you can have electricity and energy in your home.
He noted that Nigeria's leadership role in addressing regional stability and its commitment to a just energy transition presents significant opportunities for further collaboration between Denmark and Nigeria. He expressed optimism about the future of collaboration between Denmark and Nigeria on energy transition. From the State House, Abraman Jibrila, NTA News.
And results of the off-cycle elections next. Governor Duidiri of the People's Democratic Party has been declared winner of the 2023 Bayelsa State Governorship election. The returning officer, Professor Farouk Kuta, announced that Governor Diri polled 175,196 votes to defeat other candidates in the contest and his closest rival, Timipre Silva of the APC, who polled 108 votes. Timi Ohia reports.
It was 3 days of waiting for the declaration of the Bayelsa State governorship election results. One after the other, the collation officers took turn to announce their results, starting from Kolokoma Opokoma, Ogbea, Yenegua, Sagbama, Nembe, Ekeremo, Brass and Southern Niger local government areas. The third day put a stop to the palpable anxiety as the result was eventually announced, with the PDP's candidate emerging winner.
That Diri Doye of PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Some party agents were called for his endorsement, but the APC agent refused as he is not satisfied with the cancellation of results in Ward 11, 12, 13 of Nimbe Constituency 3. Others expressed concerns over the outcome of the election in Bayelsa State.
Counciled over 55,000 votes. And when you add 28,000 and 25,000 votes, we are talking about over 80-something thousand votes that were counciled. You can see that the difference between APC and PDP is 65,000.
I feel highly elated, and it has shown clearly that Governor Doyediri is acceptable to the people of Bayelsa State. You can see the trend all over the state. He won everywhere. It was only in a few isolated cases, and in those cases where he did not win, it was clear that something went wrong in those places.
The election is fraught with irregularities, ranging from vote buying to willful cancellation of results. Results that were declared at the units were summarily cancelled at the INEC office.
The Saturday governorship election in Bayelsa State has been adjudged peaceful in some parts of the state. In Yenegua, Timinepri, Ohia, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Governor Diri, in company of his Delta and Taraba counterparts, has promised Bayelsans a consolidation of the achievement of his first tenure following his re-emergence as governor of Bayelsa State in the off-cycle governorship election in the state. Fred Uifi reports.
Outcome of the results indicate that the PDP pulled a total of 175,196 votes, while the APC got 110,108 votes, and Labour Party 905. In his victory speech, Governor Diri and his counterparts from Delta, Sheriff Oborowori, and Taraba Abu Kefa described the victory as the will of God and the people of the state.
I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to everyone who cast your vote in my favor and in our favor, and has entrusted me with the responsibility of leading our beloved state again. I am also immensely grateful to the leadership of our great party, the People's Democratic Party, at all levels.
This victory is not for the governor alone, it's a victory for the whole people of Bayelsa State.
He's a man of humility, and thus has played in this election.
Governor Diri commended INEC, security agencies, civil liberty organizations, among others, for the smooth conduct of the election.
Fred Uwefie, NTA.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu congratulates Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, Governor Duyediri of Bayelsa State, and Governor-elect Usman Odudo of Kogi State on their victory in the November 11 governorship elections. In a statement, the president commends the electorate in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa states for participating in the electoral process, affirming the resilience of democratic institutions and the power of the people in shaping the nation's political landscape. President Tinubu says the outcome of the elections reflects the wishes of the people, emphasizing that democracy thrives when voters reward competence, transparency, and good governance. While expressing gratitude to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for working assiduously to create a level playing field for all contestants, and the nation's security agencies for maintaining law and order during the highly anticipated elections, the President affirms the need for a sustained commitment for all efforts aimed at further sanitizing the electoral system and enhancing the credibility of future elections. With the elections concluded, President Tinubu anticipates a renewed sense of hope for the people of Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa states, as well as consolidation of progress, which will position the states as hubs of peace, commerce, entrepreneurship, and prosperity in Nigeria. Former President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the All Progressives Congress (APC) on winning the governorship elections in Imo and Kogi states, thanking the people of the two states for reaffirming their confidence in the nation's biggest political party. In a statement via his spokesperson, Garba Shehu, the former president thanks particularly the party leaders and the workers who labored tirelessly to ensure the re-emergence of Senator Hope Uzodinma for his second term in Imo and Usman Odudo as the new governor of Kogi State. Similarly, former President Goodluck Jonathan has congratulated Senator Duyediri on his re-election as governor of Bayelsa State, describing the victory as well-deserved. President Jonathan also says it is a demonstration of the people's faith in Diri's leadership and reward for years of commitment to peace, prosperity, and progress of Bayelsa State. The success, he says, confers on the governor-elect more responsibilities as the people have, through the ballot, entrusted their hope and expectations for a better and prosperous future, hence the need to reciprocate and work for the general good of the good people of Bayelsa. An FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, has sent hearty congratulations to Governors Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, Duyediri of Bayelsa State, and Usman Odudo of Kogi State on their victories at the governorship elections held on Saturday, urging them to use their mandates to work for the benefit of their people and development of their states. APC National Chairman Abdullahi Umar Ganduji has also congratulated Hope Uzodinma on his re-election as Imo State Governor and Usman Ahmed Odudo as Governor-elect Kogi State. In a statement signed by Chief Press Secretary to the APC National Chairman Edwin Olofu, Ganduji remarks that the electoral feats of both Uzodinma and Ododo reinforce the fact that Nigerians are well at home with the APC. The APC victory, Ganduji says, in both states underlines the fact that the citizenry is appreciative of the delivery of democracy dividends by Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State and the outgoing Governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello. This is the Network News at 9 on NTA. Stay. We're talking legislative matters now. The Senate Joint Committees conducting the 2024 budget planning process with ministries, departments and agencies of government have emphasized the need for proper reconciliation of accounts on revenue and remittances to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. The lawmakers say the objective is to ensure diligence and to achieve the 26 trillion naira budget target. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
As the lawmakers engage heads of ministries, departments and agencies of government on their revenue remittances and projections for 2024, they raised questions on the variations as captured in documents submitted by the Accountant General of the Federation.
A situation where an agency is supposed to remit, after they have collected and they never remitted until the next year, which will also reflect as performance of that year, because from what we have seen is like that.
If you are collecting documents in terms of transfer from maybe BAT, from NNPC and so on and so forth, we need to know exactly what they have transferred to you.
The budgeted figures of those remittances federation account are lower, in most of the years, lower than the gross receipt into the accounts, but less than the net receipt. So it's misleading.
We definitely go through the accounts, reconcile the accounts, and have serious engagements with the FGOEs on where we are having differences.
The National Communications Commission was also asked why its projected remittance for the next 3 years signals a downward trend.
There must be a reason why you have 510 and then only 218 projected in 2024.
Spectrum is finite, and it's also a function of the technologies available at the time. So even though there's a spectrum available, we cannot sell it until the technology is ready to use it.
In her submissions, the Director General of the Debt Management Office advised that Nigeria must challenge herself to achieve double-digit revenue generation like other African countries in order to fund the budget and take care of debts. Management of the News Agency of Nigeria also made an appearance before the committee. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still on legislation, female parliamentarians from Somalia are in Nigeria to explore possible partnership with their Nigerian counterparts in areas of legislative matters and women inclusion in governance. The first agreement was mooted during a visit to the Director General of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
These female lawmakers from Somalia's bicameral legislature are in Abuja at the instance of the United Nations Population Fund for knowledge sharing with their Nigerian counterparts on legislative interventions for development. They acknowledge both countries have similar challenges on security and humanitarian issues while resolving to deepen parliamentary ties for development.
Just like we have started what we call friendship associations between our parliament and various other parliaments outside Africa, it's high time we started developing such friendship associations for the countries in Africa.
The Senate of Somalia was established in 2016, and we are currently on the second term. We are 54 members. And as was already mentioned, 14 of the 54 are female.
At the unveiling of the House Committee on Federal Polytechnics and Higher Technical Education, there was advocacy for tailoring technical education to enhance productivity and create wealth for the teeming youth.
We must move our young people from education to employment. What are the hurdles? What are the interventions necessary?
It therefore gladdens my heart that the House and the committee will be providing the necessary legislative support, oversight, and supervision required to build a sustainable ecosystem for technical, vocational, and entrepreneurship education.
In another development, the House of Representatives is soliciting more partnership with civil society organizations and international agencies towards strengthening the capacity of lawmakers at the National Assembly.
Whatever strategies we're going to adopt to improve the image of the legislature should also be within the context of improving the image of political parties that produce the legislators.
A programs coordinating unit in the Speaker's office has the mandate of facilitating all technical support from partners. From the National Assembly, Meteorological, NTA.
The third arm of government is next, and President Bola Tinubu has tasked judicial officials to key into his administration's renewed hope agenda to correct negative perceptions about Nigeria. This was at the opening conference of Judges of Superior Courts of Record in Abuja. Judiciary correspondent Austin Anyebe reports.
The conference brings together all judges of superior courts covering the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, Federal High Court, Industrial Courts and others. It provides platform to take stock of events in the justice sector and chart a way forward. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, was frank in areas the judiciary should focus to deepen Nigeria's democracy.
Nigeria's global ratings on the Rule of Law Index, Democracy Index, Open Government Index, Corruption Perception Index, etc., are no doubt discouraging. Hence, one of the cardinal items on our renewed hope agenda under my leadership is our commitment to drive the judicial reforms to achieve sustainable socio-economic growth and investment.
Other key stakeholders in the judiciary interacted at the conference and expressed diverse views.
The judiciary is still grappling with obtaining palpable independence, since what has been in place over the years is at best superficial.
The legislature as the People's Parliament and the judiciary as the last half of the common man must collaborate to meet the expectations of good governance.
We continue to place premium on improving the performance of judicial officers through capacity building and on strengthening the strategies and consistency with the justice sector.
The conference is organized by the National Judicial Institute as part of their mandate in the area of capacity building. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
On the labor front, leaders of the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria say there is no going back on its planned nationwide strike action to commence tomorrow, Tuesday, 14th November 2023. The organized labor says the industrial action has become inevitable since government has failed to respond to its demands to arrest and prosecute those involved in the brutalization of NLC President Joseph Ajero. The two unions have turned a blind eye to the court injunction, restraining them from embarking on the strike, even though the notice is boldly placed at the main entrance of Labour House. Nigeria and France have agreed to a partnership in meteorology and weather-related issues as the world gets set to take decisions on how to further mitigate climate change. Musa Aliu has details of the partnership made known during a French-Nigeria meteorological seminar in Abuja.
This is the first time Nigeria and France are coming together to discuss meteorological issues as well as that of hydrology. Representatives from Cameroon, Ghana, Rwanda and Uganda are also participating in the roundtable discussion.
So a good understanding and control of the latest technologies, equipment and worldwide best practices is a must to anticipate, prevent and optimize our practices.
It is observed that funding of meteorological activities such as instrumentation, new technologies, equipment, welfare, communication and data exchange are grossly inadequate. The meeting is therefore looking at the business aspect of meteorology and hydrology for revenue generation and climate change mitigation.
So definitely commercialization is the way to go because if you check our service, it's categorized into public service and then government support service, and the last but not the least is the tailored service. So we're going to expand more on the tailored service to be able to generate more revenue for the agency and for government, and then also deliver more effective services to our clients in the country and beyond.
At the end of the meeting, it is hopeful that Nigerian Meteorological Agency and that of French government will have an understanding in information sharing as regards to weather and other hydrological services. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Women farmers must be considered indispensable partners in agriculture. The highlight of a one-day workshop for women in agriculture and trade in response to the outcome of the 67th United Nations Commission towards achieving empowerment of women and girls. More than 100 women representatives from the 19 northern states participated in the workshop. Elizabeth Ila has the details.
Women in agriculture and trade, oh yeah!
Converged here are representatives of women farmers from the 19 states of northern Nigeria. They were brought together by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security for a capacity building workshop that will better enlighten them on the national gender policy on agriculture, climate change and its impact on agriculture and women, gender mainstreaming and sustainable development goals were the major highlights.
We are going to achieve something that we are going to take it to our state, down to the rural area.
It will help me in training my children so that they will have something doing when they grow up.
When I take it here, I will go and deliver it to my women so that they will have more knowledge.
Representative of the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security says the workshop is to make women better informed.
To give them a kind of training that will empower them more in their strive to help the economy in food security and of course to improve their source of livelihood.
Issue of the national gender policy on agriculture that are 11 in number, the role of women in food security, and of course the issue of climate change.
The women used the platform to exhibit some of their farm produce and other processed goods from their agricultural yields. In Kano, Elizabeth Villa, NTA News.
And from Kano, we head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by with more reports. Hello, Adiola.
Thank you, Najatu. Road users have again been reminded to ensure their vehicles are in good working condition with all the needed equipment fixed before embarking on a journey this festive period. This concerned stakeholders re-echoed at an awareness campaign tagged "Don't Drink and Drive" in Lagos. Diana Jale reports.
Towards the end of every year, people engage in travels for the Yutai, and to ensure that overspeeding, overloading, nonchalant attitude of drivers to traffic rules and regulations, with the intake of alcoholic drinks while driving, which have been identified as some of the factors responsible for road traffic crashes, are reduced to the barest minimum. The Don't Drink and Drive campaign has been taken a notch higher.
Drive responsibly.
And why many individuals are curious about meeting up with their set goals as the year comes to an end. Safety of lives and property is therefore imperative.
In my own way, when I want to drive, I always relax my mind and focus on where I'm going to.
Say I want to make more money, then I rescue my life and I end up, I cannot be able to train my family.
Don't Drink and Drive Ember Month campaign took the organizers to major motor parks, with Ojota Motor Park as the first port of call.
At this critical period, please, if you are going to be on the road, ensure that you have your valid driver's license, you maintain your vehicle, stay away from the use of phone while driving.
Other parks visited include the ever-busy Oshodi Motor Park and Bega Inward Park, with the message, drink and driving don't go together.
The idea behind the Don't Drink and Drive campaign is to advocate for responsible drinking. So as telling our drivers, please, when you commute, when you drive people, try and be cautious.
Stakeholders believe that frequent public enlightenment remains a vital tool to reducing road traffic crashes on Nigerian roads. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
We're still watching NTA Network News. Let's begin the business segment with some investment news. The latest disclosure by the Saudi Arabian government to invest in the country's refineries and forex pledge is receiving positive reviews. Economic watchers say there is a deliberate need to have a long-term objectives to add value and standardize exports for sustainable economic gains and price stability.
How do we support business to be producing at optimal capacity? How do we have that competitive edge that our product will attract the right kind of value? Because most times the backward integration is not actually being done. Example is the crude oil. You send out your crude oil, people add value to it, they bring it back to you, then you buy at a higher price. But if we get to the level of sending it out, finished product, you earn enough, it's competitive, you bring in.
Now to capital market. The equities market closed the day negative as investors lost 132.61 billion naira. The all-share index shed 0.33% to close at 70,612.81 basis point. 474.3 million shares worth 7.7 billion naira were traded in 7,630 deals. Equity capitalization advanced to 38.7 trillion naira. Fidelity Bank PLC, Japan Gold and UBA were the most traded stocks at the end of the session. But as the news continues after the break.
The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has attributed the improvement in security to current political will and synergy among heads of security agencies. Nuhu Ribadu said this at the opening ceremony of the annual Chief of Defense Intelligence Conference holding in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
These are defense advisors and attaches from different missions across the country, serving as eyes and ears of the Nigerian defense authorities abroad by fostering foreign military cooperation.
As the foremost producers of the defense-related intelligence, it is the resolve of the DIA to ensure that the defense attaché system is better positioned for effective regional collaboration.
The 2023 conference is an avenue to appraise their operation and make projections for the coming year by assessing threats and emerging challenges.
It is indeed necessary for us to accelerate global and regional collaboration to effectively protect our citizens and ensure peace across the region.
This conference does not only present an opportunity to assess the role of our defense attaché advisors, but to also seek ways of exploiting the sustainable defense strategy adopted by other countries, especially in the area of military industrialization.
Since this team
to the National Security Advisor, the unconventional security challenges are gradually being subdued.
This year, we have not witnessed one single attack of police stations in the southeast. Last year, we had 46. I want to thank you, Armed Forces, for that.
The tasks before the advisors and attaches are enormous but achievable.
In line with Nigeria's military bilateral policy, there are 25 defense attaches and advisors across the globe. In Abuja, Ismail Musa.
Let's join our sports desk for updates.
Ahead of the double-header qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, defender Kenneth Omero, Jamie Collins and Omar Sadiq are amongst the Super Eagles players already in camp at Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Coach Jose Pesero invited 23 players for the World Cup qualifying campaign beginning on Thursday against Lesotho and subsequently against Zimbabwe in Uyo. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are drawn in Group C alongside South Africa, Rwanda, Benin Republic, Lesotho and Zimbabwe. Elsewhere, Nasarawa United hit the road to the NPFL return with positive result after picking all 3 points at home when They defeated Zamfara United 1-0 on match day 1 of the 2023-24 Nigerian National League opener in Nasarawa State. The only goal from Aminu Abubakar in the 9th minute of the game was what the boys needed to see victory for the governor Abdullahi Sule, who witnessed the game.
Happy that Nasarawa State is now hosting the first game, for the NNL, and it means a lot to us.
I told them if there's going to be half goal, I need it, and I got the 3 points.
Finally,
the death has occurred of Sifau Arike Kazim after a brief illness. She was aged 85 years. Mrs. Sifau Arike Kazim was a devout Muslim and community leader who impacted positively on her immediate community. She has widely been described as a mother with a kind heart whose love and discipline inculcated in her children pushed them to enviable heights. She is survived by many children and grandchildren, among them Deputy Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, BC Kazim. Mama Sifau will be buried tomorrow, Tuesday, according to Islamic rites. On that note, we conclude the network news on NTA. Thanks for staying with us, and remember to support our troops by getting an emblem.